Bobby, did you ever fear for your life in any of your dealings in Vietnam when you were trying to retrieve American POWs in MIA or later in North Korea?
It's dangerous. I mean, you travel alone. You're going into communist regimes. You're dealing with, at times, undesirables, and most of the time. And sure, the reason that we're democratic is just a different, better way of life. The communists are very unpredictable. In a heartbeat, you could disappear. They don't have the value that we have on life. Not to say that they don't have value on life, but certainly they don't have value on an American's life. When I was in Vietnam, it was just a few years before we killed 3 million of their people. And now I'm over there, running around trying to find out where they're hiding Americans. Under the guise that I was there to help them along to normalize ties with the U.S.
So
certain things, it gets risky. Certain times I became concerned.
Have we made our own bed in some parts of that world? Have we, sown the seeds of some of that hatred? You mentioned Vietnam, the numbers of people that we've killed. Do Americans have a concept of how America is perceived based on? I sometimes think that we're a little bit stubborn based on, yeah, you're right. We do value life more domestically, but we've done a lot of not so great things in our foreign policy, and we don't always have an understanding that you deal with the countries the way they are, not as you want them to be.
Well, until you see a dead corpse, until you see a pile of dead bodies, and you actually see what it does. You can read about it, you can look at it in the magazine, and it doesn't affect you emotionally. But if I took the average American and I brought them over to a pile of children that were just killed, and the stench, and their thumbs are cut off, and their heads are blown off, and their intestines are piled out, that's when, every American needs to see that up front and in person. And then I think they would understand what the devastation is about war, what it actually does. Okay, it's something that the reality then would sink into them. I said, this is not a Hollywood world. This is not an Angelo Jolie world, okay, and a Brad Pitt world. Okay, we need to be prepared because there's some badasses out there that want to decimate what we have. Okay, and we have to prepare ourselves for that, and we have to prepare young men and young women to defend us.
So
that's why I don't jump on that gun ban. It was funny. One of the reasons the government went along with me, and whether it was the FBI, whether it was the Department of Defense, whether it was the CIA, who the hell else knows all these guys that came calling? But one of the reasons they went along with me is they knew that I didn't need any training. I've been a sharpshooter since the age of 16. Okay? They knew that I was a weapons expert. They didn't have to, you just don't become that. You don't draft an 18-year-old, put a gun in his hand, and expect him to go overseas and defend us. Okay? You need a generation of young men and women that know how to handle firearms, that respect firearms. But the firearm becomes an extension of your own body. Okay? And that's how you become successful in warfare. That's how you protect, this beautiful country of ours. Okay, this Hollywood dream of, only the military, and we'll draft people for that, and you're going to go down and train them in 8 weeks? So you got to be kidding me. Okay, it takes years to be proficient, okay, in firearms. Years. When you're getting shot at, before you can hit anything in front of you. Okay, you have to know that weapon like you know your own arms. You don't send somebody down to Fort Bragg and train them for 8 weeks and then ship them overseas. That's not going to win you any wars to defend this nation. That's my my strong opinion on firearms. Self-defense, okay, is an integral part of the sovereignty and the moral fabric of what this nation was built on.